All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I see you guys popping in the chat already. Hey, Biddy. Hey, Des. Hey, Cordelia. Thank you all for joining me after Desi's little launch this morning. Amazing cards, Desi and Biddy. I watched you both yesterday and then again today. So awesome cards. I just have to start first by saying, Des, thank you so much for asking me to be part of this team to help design some stuff for you. And I have to tell you, when I talked to Desi about this, and she asked me, she's like, look, I like your stuff. Just, you have free reign, do whatever you want. So that's what I've done. I love her stamps. Amazing stamps, good quality. The thing I like about things that I've been playing with so far, and I think Desi said it earlier, these are so versatile that you can use them for any occasion. I can use them on any card. I've got kind of a little mixed media, grungy kind of stuff to show you, and I've got some just very simple stuff. So I like the range of these. I have to tell you, so watching Desi's live, I was kind of getting my stuff set up. If you see my little cords dangling here, we had a little tech disaster, so we're going to do this kind of old school. I usually use my GoPro for my down camera, and went to set everything up, and this overheated, and now it won't work. So rather than trying to scramble, it was working, but then as soon as I plugged it in, it wasn't working. We're going to do this old school, and I'm going to have to use this face cam and do some face stuff. I'm going to have to tilt it old school and show you the down camera. So apologize for the angles, but you know what? I'm not going to let it freak me out, and we're just going to go with it. So I want to show you two things. One, these are the first two sets I got from Desi. So I got the Tangled Flourish, and this is before being on the design team for her. And then I got this one, which is a Tangled in Bloom, and love both of these. I've done a lot of stuff with these, but what I like is that in her new stuff, this stuff matches and works so well that if you look at all of her stuff, and I know she just showed you like the layout of all 12 of her stuff, which congrats on that, Desi. Man, oh man, this stuff works so well intermixing. I actually didn't intermix sentiments. Oh, wait, I take that back. I might have once. Yesterday, they were intermixing sentiments and stuff from other stuff. So this works, these blend really well with her new releases, all of her stuff. So I know most of you were on with her before, so I'll just show you really quick. The three that I have played with these last couple weeks is I've got the fall one, a Tangled Leaves. Love this one. I think you might have said, Desi, this was Ava's suggestion. Great suggestion. These are awesome. Then I have the, this one is the Tangled Botanical, the garden one. I think this is my new favorite, to be honest. And then the holiday release one with the tangled ornaments. So these are the three I've been playing with. I didn't have the bigger one, the snowflakey kind of one to play with this time around. It will be in my stash, though, I guarantee you. Let's show you. I'm going to point this down. I got to hand zoom in, and then I'm going to show you the cards kind of at an angle here. If we have time, I'd like to show you one card. I'm going to keep it to for the end to show you my favorite, and then just show you the technique that I did on it. It was kind of found by accident. Then I went on YouTube to see if anybody else was doing it. I did find somebody that did this like a year or so ago. So actually not my idea, but I love the technique, and I wanted to show you guys this because it's super easy, and it just gets you kind of to play and get messy. So I apologize. I'm gonna have to stand up and point this down and then zoom in as good as I can. And this focus is kind of weird. Oh, there we go. This actually might work. All right. So let me get out the fall for you first. All right. So my fall stuff, I don't want to set them here and like get you guys to see them all right away. So my fall one. This is my first one. And hopefully this is going to focus for me. I apologize for trying to figure this out. So this one here, single stamped. I stamped it, and then I've got it embossed in gold. The coloring is I took my ink pads, smushed them down here on my glass mat, then I watercolored them on. But I did this in several layers, and I did kind of greens, oranges, reds, and just kind of blotted it on, I dried it, then I did another layer, dried it. So I tried to get, like here, you can see some darkness and some lightness, and so I watercolored in between all of the embossing. So I did each, instead of just blob, like a paintbrush over it, I did each little section by itself when I colored this. So that's the first one with the Just Because sentiment embossed in gold with a little piece of craft. Also, about craft paper. When I was kind of picking out my opening screen and stuff, I said, what colors do you use? I looked at her logo. That's how I came up with all the colors. Then she's like, I love craft paper. So I tried to put some craft, I don't think I've used so much craft paper ever, which I like craft paper, but got a lot of craft paper here to show you too. So that's my first fall one. Second one, super easy, super simple, and now I wish I would have got the graphite pencil out that she sent me. Let me see, I think it's right here. It was right here. She sent me in my order this graphite pencil, which now I know what it's for, and the little stub. So this next card I could have definitely done this. I'm going to get these out and I'm going to give these a try. I can guarantee you. So this next one, super simple, black and white, not too crazy, no color, no embossing, just stamp the leaf in black. Then if I can get the camera to pick this up, I just took on my Score Buddy and I just did 2 score lines here and I did 2 score lines here. So see if I can get that to pick up and get that to focus for us. Again, sorry, I don't have my down camera, so we're just going to go with it. Oh, you can kind of see it there. So I get this crisscross here at the bottom and kept it super, super simple. All right. Oh, she forced you to buy the colored chalk. Oh boy. Yeah, I've seen her doing these chalk things. And it's at the back of my head, Cordelia, then I'm going to have to try it. So, all right. So that's the super simple black matte. That's it. And some of these, I got to double check. Some of these I did inside stamping, and I'll show you the inside. All right, my next one, again, easy, super easy technique, and if I can get this to focus for me, there we go. The Grateful Sentiment. Now these sentiments, you guys, the script on this, I absolutely love. It's a great, just cursive writing, very nice detail on it. Again, these blend with so many of her other stamps and stuff too that you can mix and match. So I took the one maple leaf and I just stamped it in the different fall colors going around. I didn't start in any particular order. I just started stamping kind of in one side and went around. How it blended and overlapped each other, I didn't care. If it mucked it, I was going to go with it because I just wanted to see how that would blend over, and it stamped really nice. I didn't worry about drying it in between or anything. I just stamped. I did the brown. So I would do like brown, then I did, the same colors. So I didn't use my MISTI tool for this one. I just hand stamped it on with a block. And then this one, I did take and stamp the inside just a little bit to give a little something. I always try to keep some corners so that there's room to write. You could definitely write over that too. It's just ink. So all right. So there's the second one. Third one, I'm sorry. All right. This one I went a little grunge on. So this one, my new fave is ink smushing, and I'm just going to try to get this to focus. There we go. So I ink smushed this with Tim Holtz Distress, and I just kept ink smushing and then it's distress sprays over the top with the oranges and the maroons and the yellows and stuff that you can kind of see in there. Then this is embossed. I used the Distress, I got to get the name of it here. I used the Distressed Aged Mahogany embossing powder over top of this one. So this is a deep, dark red. It will lose its redness depending on what you put it on. So I'm mindful when I use this embossing powder that I still can keep some of that color. And then I did the Autumn Greetings on this one. That is embossed on here as well. Then I just took my scissors on the edge and scraped the edges of this. And I did that for the matte, and I did it for this one. And then this is just glued on top. No dimension, but I left the corners and the edges unglued so it's a little looser. So if you can kind of see the dimension there, you can kind of see like the edges are lifting up. That's what I wanted. So a little grunge, kind of autumn-y kind of feel on this one. All right, the inside on this one, I took just a Nina cardstock, white cardstock. I ink blended the edges 3 times, so I did a light, I'm trying to keep this in focus. I did a light, and then I did a medium, and then I just took a really dark, this is Tim Holtz Distress all around the edges, and then I embossed to match the front, same color embossing powder, just put the little tips of the leaves and embossed it on the inside. So I'd get a little bling on the inside for you, all right? All right, and then I did some watercolor. I am going gangbusters on watercolor. I tried to do some grunge kind of on this one. So what I did is you see the one little rounded leaf here and then the maple leaf here. This one here, I took the stamp, and I did this in the Misty so I could do it a couple times. And I just took 3 different colors. I took a red, an orange, and a green, and then I just kind of blended it over on the stamp, stamped it down about 2 or 3 times, and then what I did is before I put the background color in, I took my water bottle and I just sprayed that ink. Then I took a paper towel, lightly dabbed it off, and then sprayed it again till I got this blended down as much as I wanted. This card, in my head, I just wanted this to be muted. I wanted it really, really, really muted. So I did this several times with water and blended it off. You can see this one got really blended out around the edges. That's okay. I wanted this to be muted. I still wanted to see somewhat of that silhouette of that leaf. Is kind of what I was going for, is bring this down until I have those silhouettes left. Then I dried it. So I kept it dry, because remember with watercolor, if it's wet to wet, it's going to attract to each other and blend. I dried this card. I made sure the moisture was out of it as good as I could. Then I took a brownish and an orange watercolor. I took my watercolor, so let me grab my... So I took my watercolor pencil, dipped it in my water, then I traced around each leaf and then just pulled the water away from the leaves. Then I took that watercolor and then I dabbed it in around the edges and started pulling it away and then just blending it out. Okay? Then I did the same thing here. Then I dried this section and I did this leaf, pulled that watercolor out, and then dried it. And then I did the same technique with just some ink blending with Tim Holtz Distress all around the edges. Just took a brown and I actually took on the mat and I blended it out so I got some of that color to come out into the card. Then I just took my sponge brush and from the top side, not bottom side and not this way. Let me grab one. So I used this. Then from the top side, I just blended and pushed down so I got a little darker edge all the way around. Little gold matting and then some black matting behind that. Okay? Nothing on the inside of this one. This is probably one of my favorites, I think, right now. All right. I love Dimension. Dimension, Dimension, Dimension. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for the compliments. I see you guys chatting away, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I love Dimension. I love texture on all my cards. So this one I went texture, I went grunge, and I went kind of tattered. So these are the leaves, and what I did is I took 2 pieces of paper, just Nina cardstock pieces of paper, a little bit bigger than these. They were actually just scraps that were bigger than these. Then I ink smushed them and ink splattered and just kept adding layers and layers and layers of ink, distress sprays, and just kept layering it up till I got the color I wanted, kind of drying a little bit in between to kind of get those layers to set. Then I took gold watercolor splatter, splattered the heck out of it with my gold watercolor. Then I took and dipped my brush back into the gold, and then this is before I cut them out, and then on the paper I just did squiggles of gold all over. So you can kind of see on, like this one here, you can see some squiggles of that gold popping through into the splatter. There's another squiggle over on this one right here, right there. Dried the heck out of it, so I got to get it bone dry. Then I just stamped it with, I think this one was Ranger Archival black ink. Fussy cut them out. And then I did my background. So now, hopefully you can kind of see, if you see up in here in this little corner, you can see little dots. So underneath here, I took a little piece of that, I call it wedding mesh, that you can buy at Michael's, comes in the rolls. There's probably a name for it. Put a piece down, and then I just took my brown off of my sponge, push that in to get this textured linen kind of texture on the background. You can kind of see some right here. Then I took those same colors from before, and there's 3 or 4 different browns here. So I just took and blended the corners. Then I did a little bit closer with the brown, and then I did the flicking with the dark brown. Then I took, on 2 opposite edges, this one's kind of flattened down from being stacked, I took one of my watercolor brushes, that's all I do. I grab, and I'll see if I can get this one to show. I grab and I curl the ends around my watercolor pencil so I get that book script kind of old book rolled edges kind of feel. And then there's just some good old rough twine that I tied around it underneath, and then I just tied it so the bow kind of pops out between the leaves. So popped up on these two. This one here is glued down. This one here is glued on this edge, dimensional on this edge so it would sit on top of the twine, and then this is up on dimensionals. So there's lots of texture and lots of kind of layers to that one. All right, I love this old book kind of feel. I have some old books. This would have been great to throw some old pages on here and do the same thing, and then throw these over the top. And then inside on this one, let's see, I did the same thing, same technique, made it look like an old page with some distress, and then I just took and dabbed 3 generation on here. So I did my dark red, then I stamped it a second time, and then I stamped it a third time. So just first, second, and third generation without redabbing my ink. So you can kind of see it's just a faded kind of look. Okay? Again, I'm going to probably say this with every card, honestly. I think this is my favorite too. So, okay, this one, you guys, I am addicted. Let me get it out here. I packed it. I just packed to leave for the month, and I packed my little crafting on the go. I'm addicted to Perfect Pearls right now, just the original version. I've ordered a whole bunch of colored ones. This one is watercolor, and I'm going to just look at the shine on this sucker. You guys, I am addicted to Perfect Pearls with watercolor. So what I do is wait, this one was actually, was this watercolor? No, this was not watercolor. This was my ink pads smushed down. I took a teensy, tiny little bit of, see if I can get this to refocus. There we go. Teensy, tiny little fleck of Perfect Pearls. Put it on my ink, on my glass mat, sprayed it with water, and then I just started painting in. So on this one here, I did the centers. So if you look at the stamp, it looks like mini leaves, or actually it looks like little tiny little cellos too, like the cello violin, the shape of them. So it's like little leaves inside the leaves. That's what I did with the Perfect Pearls, is just those center little leaves, those little tangled leaves in the middle. Then I did regular color on the outside. Okay, so Perfect Pearls with a little bit of my just regular ink pad that I smushed down, little Perfect Pearls in water, brush those in, and then I just took, same thing, little ink on my glass mat, a little bit of water, and then I just started painting that in. Again, I did this in layers. It's hard to get this camera to pick this up, but you, like right where this finger is, you can kind of see some darker and some lighter. I tried to get some variant, so I layered my color up to get some dark shadowing and accenting on top of some lights. All right, and then this was, I embossed this in silver, so it contained and held my water and stuff inside my little designs as I painted. And again, I splattered this with black and silver watercolor, and then black matte. And then this has the autumn greeting right over here, just stamped. That is not embossed. So let me just get a little angle so you can kind of see that color on that one. And then inside of this one, nothing. Okay? All right. This one, I did this one for a card hop, and the theme of the card hop, and I'm like, I gotta use this, but the card hop isn't coming up until after the premiere, so I could do this. It was leaves in non-traditional fall colors. So this one my gosh, it's so pretty. You guys, it's just in person, it's so pretty. So these, I colored these, fussy cut them out, and then they're just glued down. No dimensionals on here. Put that grateful, that beautiful grateful sentiment right in the middle. Cordelia mica powder. I am addicted right now. I seriously addicted. Watercolor, Distress, and Perfect Pearls right now. I'm just so addicted to it. And I'm trying to use it in like everything possible. But anyway, so these ones I colored with Prisma colored pencils. And then I used Gamsol and a stub to blend it out. And I just did the blended, and then I went through again. Like if this one here, you can kind of see the pink and then the dark pink around the edge. So then I went back through with darker edges on all of these and did a darker color and then just lightly stubbed out with Gamsol. So I get this really good texture of color onto color. You can see on this one here, I've got some darker blues around the edge with the lighter blue around the outside. So I colored that, blended it out, added more darker color, and then blended that out again just to get that dimension. And again, not embossed. Okay, so I did little section by section, these tangled sections. If you see this one, like look at this pink. I've got darks starting at the bottom and coming up to light. Then I took a gold pen and I just traced where she had the center lines and then traced those little squiggles. So I got that, that's where that gold, it's not embossing, it's just a gold, gold pen. And then again, same, ink blended with some pink, added a little bit of brown around the edges with some ink blending, just to give it a little brown kind of feel in there. And then inside, I did this light lavender kind of paper to kind of match the front, and then I just took brown Distress and stamped, I think this, oh I'm sorry, this was probably Cargo from Catherine Pooler, stamped that maple leaf in the corner. Alright, there's that one. Two more fall. Alright, this one, easy technique, we've all done this, so it's nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but I took fall colors and I just ink blended in spots, right? I tried to do it in threes, so I think I did orange, 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 and then the maroons and the three greens, and I just kept blending together. Then I took, it's not this one, this one's actually red, but I took my sponge pad that I've been using the brown on. I just smushed it down to get some of that extra off a piece of paper, so it was just kind of a light brown left, and I just took and swiped over the top of this. Okay, that's all I did. Dried this really, really, really good because I'm going to emboss it. So I dried that really good, make sure that ink is dry. Then I took the leaves and just put it down with Versamark. And then I used, this is one of my new embossing powders called Crusty Copper by Wow. And just threw that Crusty Copper down for embossing. Great shine on it, great detail. Here's the other thing about these stamps, you guys. You can emboss them, we can ink them, we can draw over them. The detail on these pick up so nice, and she's left a lot of space yet to color, to do different techniques on. This one here, the maple, gets a little close because of the design, but on embossing, that's fine. But you can still, like on one of mine, there's still some space in there. I smushed some color in between those tiny little lines. So there's options to do stuff with these stamps. She left plenty of spaces and things to do things. So, and then the Autumn Greetings in green, and I just ink blended around the edge of that with orange, a dark, dark orange matte. Inside, I just took the three leaves, and I just took different sections of those leaves and stamped the edge in a dark orange. Okay, there you have that. One last fall one, and of course, I've got to end with watercolor. So this one I just wanted to do like a splunk of watercolor in the center. I wanted it to look greeny orange, or greeny yellow. I still wanted it kind of bright. I didn't want to go too deep in dark purples and things like I did on these other cards. So I just took my watercolor, I wet my piece of paper down in just this area. Then I just took my watercolor and I just took and like smushed around, like my green, then I dried it. Then I took my yellow and I just kind of smushed my yellow around there, then I dried it, then I took a little bit of blue in some space I had open and put a little bit of blue in there, and then I just stamped over the top with a, this was kind of a dark light brown, and I think I added a little gray over the top of it. So I stamped this twice, a light brown with some gray mixed in. Then of course, you gotta have splatter, so gold splatter all over, heavily gold splattered. Then I took, I think this one was tea dye, if I remember right, of the Distress, and just blended that out. And then the Cozy Hugs I thought worked great for this. Great sentiment. Again, can use this sentiment on like literally any card, any of her stamps. I just love how this crosses over. So I'm looking at your guys' comments. Thank you all so much. These were really, really, really fun to make. These sets are so fun to play with that I just was having fun with it. So thank you all so much, and thanks for hanging with me. All right, and then inside of this one, again, I just did my old page kind of look with that Distress ink blended around the edges. Then I did the little flicking again like this off the top edge of here, just to get a little bit more of a frame on it, so it pops against the craft paper. And then I just took this one. I took the tea dye. I think this was the tea dye, and stamped that leaf like 2 different times, 3 different times to get that a little darker than what this was. I just wanted a little bit different shade, and just stamped that leaf in there. All right, so that's the last of my fall. A little watercolor in there for ya. All right, now the Tangled Botanical. I did 5 cards in Tangled Botanical. I kind of wanted to do at least one of each set really simple. So I started with this one. So again, another black and white. And I just stamped from that bottom edge up. I think I did stamp this 2 or 3 times. Now, this one, if you look, I took scraps of paper and I cut them to the same size. I think these are 1/4 inch strips. And before I did that, so I have 2 layers here. My first layer is 1 piece of cardstock, and I stamped it. We've all seen this technique. I did not make this up myself, I promise. I'm not that smart. So I stamped the botanical. Then I took my strips of paper that I cut to all the same size, and I just glued one, let's see if I can get this in frame here, glued one corner to corner this way. And then I took another one and used that as my spacer and glued the next one. Another one for spacer, next one, and I just did that all through the card coming down and then going back up. Then I put this back in my MISTI and stamped over the strips. So now it's catching the strips. So now you can just see the texture and feel the texture, but you can see the design from the bottom cardstock and on the top. So it looks like all one picture, but you still get the texture. And then Be Happy. And I think the Be Happy I did emboss in just white embossing, opaque white embossing, and fussy cut that out off of the black paper. All right? And then black matte. Nothing on the inside of this one. Kept it plain Jane for this one since we're doing a little more plain Jane on the front. All right. This botanical set, you guys, I'll say it again. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to use this a ton. I have to tell you, okay, I did something similar, but watching Biddy and Desi yesterday, Biddy did this stamp, colored it, cut it out with a butterfly, layered it on more butterflies, die cuts or something I think she did. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty, and I'm gonna try it. I did something similar with, you'll see on the next one, but I didn't think that you could layer this with like butterflies and things. But anyway, here's my first botanical, my second botanical. Look at all that shimmer. You guessed it. I did this one I actually did use watercolor mixed with, I put it on here and then I mixed it with my Perfect Pearls, of course. So, because, look at that. It is just so, get that to shine, so pretty. Now, oh no, I did inks on this one again because here's what I did. I did my inks, and then I went back, and the part that I did not mix on the table with Perfect Pearls, so I had my splotch of ink. I mixed one corner with Perfect Pearls. I left the other corner of my splotch just regular. Then I went back through and didn't have a lot, real wet brush, picked up a little bit of that ink that didn't have the Perfect Pearls in it, And then I went through the detail of this. So on the rolls of the flowers, I went a little darker. I went a little darker on the insides of these little tangles. You can see on this leaf here, you can see the little dark edges. So I went through and just splotched in some more dark to get this dimension on this. So this one's probably watercolored maybe 2 times with a little extra, you know, whoopsie-doopsies in there kind of thing, whatever you want to call them. And then I did, like I even went through and I colored all these little tiny circles. And this one is embossed, so it's embossed in black so that it holds my water and doesn't bleed into everything else, right? So I literally am in coloring every little section on its own. This didn't take me but maybe 10 minutes to color. So don't think this was like a big long process, but oh, thank you, Biddy. It took me like 5 minutes to color this. So, and then with sympathy, because I just thought this is just such a beautiful little card that the sympathy one kind of spoke to me with this one to give to somebody with a little black mat, and then nothing on the inside. Okay, can you tell I'm addicted to some things right now? Okay, this one, I tried to do the simple, and then I've done. Hang on, I done this technique on, I think it was with the, which one, what set was it? The Flourish one, I think. So I stamped this in black, okay? Then I took a heart die cut and cut the heart out and colored the heart. This one here I did use ink. So I put my inks down with a little bit of water and I just colored this with inks, but same technique as this one. So then I colored it, then I went back through with more ink and layered in some of those edges and splotched in some darker shadowing on that. And then I took, before I put this up on dimensionals, I took one of my blending brushes, my pink blending brush. I didn't load it back up, and I just lightly inked from the inside of that die cut out to get a little, like, just a little softness, fluff around that heart. And then I lined up this heart on dimensionals so that it looks like it's all that one piece again, right? But you can see that's up on a dimensional and pop that out. You could literally do any die cut. Biddy did this with a butterfly or similar something with a butterfly, which was just gorgeous. You could do this with any shape, anything, any of these stamps actually too. I did a similar technique on one of my videos. If you go on my channel with the Flourish, I took the Flourish stamp, stamped it out. Then I literally just took from one corner to the next and I drew a pencil line. And I just colored inside that pencil with colored pencils and left the rest black and white. So there's a video up on that one. So there's that one. And then the Dream is embossed in gold. Okay. All right. This one, Be Happy, is embossed. So that one I embossed in red, just a bright Christmas red. This one I took, there's a lot of things out there right now with people doing watercolors where they lay the watercolor down, then they're painting, and then once they hit that watercolor, it blooms out. This is my version of that blooming out. So what I did is, I have these palettes that I made with Tim Holtz colored pencils. You take the shavings, put these in these little drums, get it wet so it dissolves, and then just let it dry. Now you've got like a palette of very creamy, very creamy colored pencils for a palette, okay? I got this idea from Amy R. from Prairie Paper and Ink. I asked her if I could steal it and talk about it. She's like, go for it. I took it from somebody else. So that's where I got this idea. Used the same pans as she did. These are the Tim Holtz watercolored pans. Now, I took a wet watercolor brush, dipped it in my red, orange, yellow, green, so one at a time again, because remember, wet blends to wet. So I did my red first. Dipped up my red, because it's really creamy. I painted a good chunk right up here. Then I took a big mop type, see if I can get that, big mop type brush, got it really good and wet. And I started touching that color, and as I touched it, I just squiggled down. So I made a trail of water where that would seep down into that trail. Okay, so you can see, like, I didn't hit the brush in these spots because there's no water. There was no water there, and it didn't seep over. So I did that. Then I dried it. And I got it almost dry. Then I came over here and I did my purple, big splotch of purple, wet this up, and you can see I did like 3 different trails at the end here. So I did one big one here, and then I wanted it to trail over. So I just did that, and then I just kept wetting this till that dissolves and blended, and just, I would hold my card up and let it go down. It hangs out down at the bottom, so then I would take my paper and bring it back up, so that color would trail back up and not pool down here. I had to dab some up, and then I dried it. And then I just went back and forth until I got to the middle, so that I wasn't touching until these dried. Then I stamped over it with the blooms. This one I used the Archival ink. I stamped this probably 3 times so that I could get it to really pop against that color. Love this one. Really love this one. These would be great for thank you cards, and again, easy. This sounds labor intensive, but I'm telling you this probably took me less than probably 10 minutes to make this whole card. 15 maybe tops, because I had to do some, decided to do some embossing and then gluing it. So 15 minutes to make this card. All right, last one, and this is the one I want to show you guys the technique on if we have time. This one here, Tangled Blooms again, but before I stamp that down, I just took my paper, and this is on the Canton XL watercolor paper. Then what I did is I took my watercolor pencils, took my pencil sharpener, and what I did is I stamped this in very light gray. So I stamped the Botanical Gardens in the lightest gray I have, which right now is this gray Pebble by Catherine Pooler. Super light, can barely see it. I stamped it, dried it, then I took my colored pencils, and now I can see where my leaves are going to hit, I can see where my flowers are going to hit, and I took the color. So I took like a blue over top of this flower, and I literally just put the shavings down over top of that. Then I took greens and yellows, I laid it over top of the leafy areas. Took an orange persimmon and pencil sharpened and let the shavings fall here. Did the maroon over here, and let the shavings fall. Then what you do is take your water bottle, spritz it. Don't get this too wet, okay? Because I don't want these little shavings to melt. These shavings literally like melt, okay? So I'm lightly spritzing it and letting it dissolve till I get it to where I want it to dissolve, okay? Now you can see here I had flecks left that didn't fully dissolve, and that's what I wanted. I want chunks of this left. So I didn't soak this. I will tell you, don't get impatient with this technique and spray it and then try to like dab it and get it to, because the minute you touch this, it melts. If you want that, that's fantastic. I didn't want this. I wanted some chunky, darky bits left, okay? So then I dried this really good. You got to dry the heck out of this watercolor paper. Flattened it. So I'm drying it on one side, drying it on this side, keep flipping it till it's flattened out. Then I took my heavy weight and let it dry the rest of the way. Then I just, again, stamped with black, Botanical Gardens over top of that. This one gets busy, so I put the smile in black. I didn't like it, I lost it, so I put it in white so it just pops a little bit more. And I kind of lose it a little bit on the white paper, but that's okay. So that's my favoriteest. I want to show you this technique if I have time. We got 5 cards left. So, and then on the inside, I just threw a piece of paper on the craft so you can write on it, blended a little light green over top, just to get that matchy-matchy on the inside. Okay. Last bits, my holiday cards. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you. I hope you guys are liking these ideas. Hope these are like inspiring you to grab yourself some sets and have fun with these. They're so versatile. Okay, craft again. So this one here with the ornaments. On craft, I Versamarked it. I mixed 2 embossing powders together. I mixed a red and a gold, and then I shook it, like stirred it up, and then I embossed it. So it's got a little chunky feel to it, gritty. It's kind of gritty feeling because of the 2 embossing powders that I mixed. So I've got a gold embossing. Then I just literally took my Prismacolor pencils in green, white, and red and colored them, and then went back through and colored them, just reshaded a little bit where I wanted some extra shading, and that's it. I did a white and green up here on this one. This is embossed. Then I felt like it was a little too spacey here, so I took my white pigment ink, and I took the, which one is this one from? I took the tip of this corner, Okay, off of this is the a Tangled and Bloom stamp set. And just stamp those little corners, because look, it matches. Hello? Matchy matchy, love it, love it. Universal. I use that corner on a card coming up, you'll see it. And then I threw that little Christmas tree on the inside with just some red. Stamp that a couple times to get it nice and red. Okay? Alright. This one, I used glitter. So what I've done here is I watercolored all of this. All of this is watercolor. So I stamped it in gold embossing, all gold embossing powder. Then I watercolored it. Then I just took a little bit of embossing, brushed it on a little bit, and then I sprinkled my glitter over the top to get that to stick. That's it. So green glitter here, and then I used like a clear, sparkly, snowy glitter on this one. And then I embossed with an embossing folder that I have with the leaves, which comes with die cut. So then I die cut some of the leaves out, and then I just put watercolor on the, oh no, excuse me, this one is lunar paste. Sorry, this one's lunar paste. I watercolored with lunar paste. So I took my lunar paste, that's what made it stick. Took my lunar paste, put a little dab of lunar paste, watered it down, watercolored all of this with red and green lunar paste. Then I just took, before that lunar paste dried, I sprinkled over this edge, the bigger space, I sprinkled the glitter. Then I just put lunar paste on the leaves and on the berries that I cut out, stuck that behind, put a little tie over this one, so I just poked a little hole in this. I colored it with gold, and then I poked a little hole, put some twine, and then gold ribbon behind. And then the joy is gold embossed. All right? This one, 5 minutes to make, I promise, so stinking easy. This one I stamped the Christmas tree, I call it, in red, full red. The green ones, I took 3 different greens. So on my stamp, I just put my dark green, then I put my medium green in the middle, and then the lighter green on the tip, and then stamped that around. So I started with the middle one, then I did my 2 reds, and then I went back through and did the edges with the green again. This is just 2 layers of paper, a red and a green. And then I die cut the red and a white, and then I did the same technique that I did with the trees, I did here on the joy. So I did my dark green, my medium green, and my light green for the joy. And then on the inside, I had to throw a little Christmas tree on that inside. Okay? I think this is probably my only card I don't have some glitzy, glammy something. All right. I had to do some grunge, and I'm losing some light for some reason. I'm not sure where my light went. There we go. So this one is embossed in that distress mahogany. Okay, see if I can get that to focus. There we go. Just embossed, no coloring whatsoever. I put it towards the bottom of my square so I could fit my Noel here. My Noel is just stamped about 5-6 times with one of my cranberry red, I think. Then again, I took the tip of that Christmas tree in brown around the edge. Then I did my same technique, right? Ink blended, and then from the top side, get the little edges. I did, I took my red paper that I used on this one, and I cut it to size, then I ripped it. I ripped all the edges, just little tears all the way around the edge so I could get some variation of jaggediness. Took my brown and just ink blended that brown, and then I took my 4 chunks of ribbon, flagged them on the tips, put them there, and there you have it. Inside, I went my dark cranberry around the edge for my distressed page look, and then I just stamped these in a dark green, my forest green. All right, last card. Oh no, sorry, 2 more. I thought this was my last one. All right, I wanted non-traditional colors again, just to get this to focus. This one here is embossed, but it's clear embossed over my aqua ink. So I stamped this in aqua, then I embossed over it in clear so that I could then hand paint this. And what I did here is I took the ink that I dabbed down, not a ton of water, I got a little bit of water on it, and then I colored it in, and I just kept layering so I could get that darkness to lightness again. I was going for, you know how you do colored pencils, and or even like Copic markers and stuff where you get all that gradient. I was going for the gradient, and I just kept adding some layers of it where I wanted it. And you can kind of see up close, like I followed the edge of the swoops in some dark edges. And then I did the same thing here. I did one line of watercolor, and then I took my watercolor brush, not super wet, and I just brushed it, and I kept pulling it off the edge all the way around. I'd start at the edge and just pull it. My brush was almost dry, let's put it that way, okay? And just softened out the watercolor and then pulled it out all the way around the edge. So I just wanted to give you that feel of it's being glass, okay? Embossed in silver up here, and then I just used the same colors with my watercolors, or my ink and water brush, and painted those in. Noel is just stamped in black, nothing on the inside of that one. And then splattered it in silver. All right, last card. All right, here is, this one is actually watercolors. This is for my pan watercolors, the shimmers on them. No perfect pearls on this one, just my shimmer watercolors. This one I embossed in that same mixture of red and gold embossing. This is embossed, this is embossed. This is from this stamp set, and I used the corner piece right here, up in the corner, and then I used that Christmas ornament on the middle. Okay, and I did use the hook on a couple of these. Sorry, I didn't call out the hook. I did use the hook. The hook I stamped in silver. And then this again is just adding watercolor. Then I went through around the edges and added a little bit more for some dark shading, and just layered on my watercolors till I got that shading on there. And then ink splattered in gold. And then I just took black and just did the same technique, edge technique, or just a little thin line of black all around there. Put my lavender behind it to get the match, and then nothing on the inside. All right, that is 50 minutes. I want to do this quick technique for you all since I have time. Hopefully you hang with me. There's my cards. Hope you like them. So much fun. Head on over to www.includeathankyou.com. She does have these up, and they are ready to purchase. And yeah, hope you guys liked them. They had great ideas. Biddy and Desi did a video yesterday. They had some awesome ideas. Okay, really quick, let's just show you how I did that one card. All right, I have preset this. So I've got my Misty angle in here, so it pulls it away from the edge because this stamp needs a little bit of room. So I'm using the botanicals. Okay, it's been well loved, you can tell already. I've been playing a lot with this one. My lightest gray that I own. Okay, and I'm just doing gray because when I add water to this, I don't want a ton of bleeding off of something else. Because I'm going to add water, then stamp back over it with black. Okay, so I'm just getting a little light color. I just need to know where stuff is at. That's it. Okay, see that? So I just need to know proximity of my flowers. Okay, now I'm going to take my pencil sharpener and my colors. So I want to do, I'm not even looking at the name of the colors. Okay, I'm just grabbing. So my purple flower here. Now I took this out of my pencil sharpener, remember. Any pencil sharpener will work. This is my Prismacolor pencil one. Now I'm just dropping my shavings as I do this in spot. Doesn't take a lot of these either, just so you know. Okay, now let's do a red. So I had there's two flowers here, so I'm going to drop a little red right here on this one. Okay, then let's do kind of a yellowy on this one. So I'm just sharpening my pencil. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Super fun to do. I got one little flower kind of hanging off my edge here, so I'm going to just give that a little bit of blue. Okay. Now the rest, I'm going to do I like a little yellow in my greenery, so I take a little bit of a yellow, and actually this is my favorite versus that one. So I'm using this is Lucky Clover, Mowed Lawn, and Twisted Citron for my greens, and I'm going to do greenery around the rest. Okay, so I'm just going to drop, kind of random. Yeah, Ava, you can sharpen these. That's how I did my my little set like these. I have 2 of these, right? That's how I did these. I just literally sharpened these, and I did the same exact thing. Took them in rainbow order. Found it online. I found a, what do you call it? Now I just totally lost my train of thought. Color palette with all the names in rainbow order. I sharpened these in the little pans, added water, and then I had to take like a toothpick or cut off a Q-tip, and I had to like kind of stir it a little bit to get it to dissolve. Don't put too much water in these though, because it doesn't take much for it to dissolve, and then you can always add more and add more water. On a couple of these I got it too watery, and then I had to literally let it sit open for a week to evaporate. All right, take a couple more of this one. And my last one, which is mowed lawn, I'm just dropping it in. I'm going to do some yellow. I need yellow. Now I'm going to go over that blank spot. Okay. That's it. Now, the temptation's going to get you on this to dab this with your finger. Try to resist that temptation. Okay. So I spritz kind of from up above, and I'm just doing light spritzes until that water starts to stick. And I'm trying not to get droplets, because the droplets are going to kind of mess you up. And I don't know if you can catch that with this angle of this camera today. I'm sorry I don't have my down camera. But it just starts to dissolve. Okay. And now I'm just getting closer to get it wet. I just went from above so the spray doesn't scatter that until it starts to get wet and stick. Okay. Now you might need to dry a little bit if it's curling on you and starts dripping. So I'm just going to dry this a little bit. I'm going to give it one more little spritz, but it's almost where I want it, because I want this to stay chunky. Idea of this one is to get it to stay chunky. Okay, get a little dry. I'm catching up here. I love that idea. It's the Ranger. Oh yeah, it is the Ranger color palette. All right, one more spritz just to get this to bleed a little bit more. And I'm gonna kind of tip to get some bleeding. And I'm gonna start drying. If it's a little too chunky, go ahead and dab in there, because you might need some of that to dissolve to get it to stamp. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a little bit. That's pretty dark, but all right. Just to speed that up. I gotta stand up. All right, I'm gonna get this dry and stamp it, and that's it. So I don't think I need to show you the whole thing here, but I'll dry this to hold this up. I really just wanted to show you guys technique on this one today. On how, and this one here, let me grab the card out, make sure my fingers are clean. This one, technique, was from that card. Okay? That's how I did this card. That card. Alright, dry that. It's dry enough for me to hold up for you. It's still pretty wet. I didn't use watercolor paper, and I should have. Okay? Now, just imagine now, I'm going to stamp that over in black, right where those flowers are. And you can see that yellow is really chunky still. I got good chunks left on there. All right? Okay. All right. Sorry, I got to manually come up and then zoom out. You're going to get a nice close-up of my face here. Hey, you guys, thank you so much. Desiree, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are not following me, anybody, go ahead and follow me. I will be doing a ton more of this stuff with Desi's stuff. I'm going to do some lives with her stuff. And then I'm going to do a lot more, some on Instagram, and I'm going to be posting some videos, just some pre-made recorded videos of this stuff too. I literally can't stop playing with these. Fantastic sets. I'm getting some more, so look for my little order coming into you, Desi. She is amazing. I love the fact that she just is like, do what you want. No parameters. I don't care. I want to see what you can do with my sets. So I had fun playing. I hope you guys liked it. Cordelia, Ava, all of you guys, Crafty Visage, I'm looking here, Biddy, all of you guys hanging with me today. Thank you so very much. This has been an absolute blast making these cards. I'm going to have to repeat Desi just a little bit. There were a couple cards. This is going to be one of them that I made, and I literally started giggling because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. Like, that is so easy, and like, oh my God, I'm going to make, like, literally started giggling. So it's the things that we probably do and say in our craft room is ridiculous. But anyway, thank you all so much. Desi, thank you. Biddy, you guys are just been amazing, kicking out some ideas as well, and I look forward to maybe we can do a live together and play with these and some of our other stamps too. So thanks for hanging. I gotta catch a plane. I'm heading out of town for a month to do some training for work Monday through Friday. So I've got everything pre-recorded and set up on my channel. The last 3 weeks has been trying to do a month of videos so I don't miss a beat. So hopefully you subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, Manly Made Minute on Instagram. Would love to have you. I will follow each of you guys as well. I've written down some names I think in here that I don't follow. I'm gonna find you. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday all, and we'll see you soon.